Hi there, Aries. Welcome to your mid-March 2023 General Tarot update. It's Rena here. Well, we're on the precipice right before your solar return when I personally think that things will start to crank up, in my opinion, in a good way. I always associate that with the Fool card with Aries because of April Fool's Day. And just it's the first card of the zodiac, of the tarot, and you're the first sign of the zodiac, so it makes a lot of sense. There's some major arcana action to be expected since you're about to have your solar return. Okay. Oh, so I'm going to pick this card now because I have it right here. I have a new oracle deck called the Star Codes Astral Oracle deck. I'm going to pick a card from that. But with Pisces, that was the first sign I did. I forgot, and I signed off, and then I'm going to tack that onto Pisces reading. The heart of the matter is the Knight of Pentacles, and this is a card of that workhorse energy that we associate with Taurus, like just wash, rinse, repeat, just doing what it takes, showing up and doing your work. It's a good work ethic. And the thing is, it's like with Aries, I have to believe with the average Aries person, unless you have Mars and Taurus, and this is just how you roll normally. But the average Aries person is doing this, they're biding their time. They're going to be out of there. But they want to either, make a certain amount of money, and then they're going to split or what have you, something along those lines. And that's perfectly fine because they might be able to make it happen. Maybe they just need to have a little bit of a cushion before they leave. Because we have in the past position the Fool card, which means that recently you may have felt that you are embarking on a new journey that's totally new to you. Now, the zero, it hasn't escaped me because there's going to be a new moon in your sign on March 21st at 0 degrees of Aries. So it's kind of that similar, like that 0 point creation where you make something happen from its inception. Sometimes we have a template that we draw upon to create something, and sometimes we just create it from scratch. And Aries people, I could see you totally loving this idea of creating something from scratch. You're just that kind of a person. And you're very creative and you're very enterprising. So it makes a lot of sense. The higher message is the Knight of Swords. And to me, the phrase that just came into my mind was cut to the chase. And it's almost the same thing with the Knight of Pentacles. It's like these are two knights, and knights in the tarot don't necessarily get the best reputation sometimes because it's the archetype of the young man and this idea of somebody who's kind of wild and somebody who's untamable. But the Knight of Swords is, because of the swords connection, is about the thoughts. It's about it's like calling things as you see them, being very direct in your speech. And I think about that also in terms of your planning, because I think of swords in terms of all mental activity. And it's not something that needs to be overly complicated. It can be as simple as you have a goal and you're going to get there. And maybe you say to yourself, I'm going to just not get cute or complicated with my communication with others, especially if you're in a place that you don't want to be in forever. And you don't want these entanglements with other people necessarily. So you just say what you need to say, and you say it as under like clear and concisely, so that there doesn't have to be much more discussion on it. And then you go about your merry way. What crosses you is the Knight of Pentacles. So there may be, this may have to do with somebody else other than you, because the Knight of Pentacles in the challenge position can mean an individual who is very materialistic. And because this is a king, this can be someone who is, maybe it's like a father or father figure, and perhaps you fear that this individual will be disapproving of you, that he will think that you are not successful enough. The reason I'm using the word successful is I'm talking about it in terms of the material energy. So maybe you are being diligent work-wise, but you're not currying the favor of the boss. The King of Pentacles could be the boss, because he's wrapped up in how much money are we making, and he can't see that you are putting in a good day's work. But if you have already made up your mind that you are not going to stay there, then you can use that sort of attitude as a further way of strengthening your desire to leave that situation, instead of just waiting for someone to give you a pat on the back. Sure enough, what is coming in is the World card. I got the first card of the Major Arcana and the last card. This is graduation day, the end of a cycle. And what it means is that one door is closing, and that means another door is opening for you. But some people, depending on their emotional makeup, they can find this very upsetting, because they may have developed some kind of, like emotional connection with certain people that they're working with, or they're attached to their clients or whatever it is at the job that they're working, and it can be hard. Luckily for you, Aries, you tend to be able to move on, because you're a very forward looking and seeking sign. So this is not necessarily a problem that you have, but some of you are more sentimental than others. So being able to recognize this as kind of I was going to say a rite of passage, but actually as a phase in your life, an era that is ending, and really give thanks to it and eagerly anticipate the next phase. The outcome is the Wheel of Fortune, which means that you're aligning with success. Actually, this card is connected to Jupiter, and Aries isn't Jupiter until like May 17th. So it really goes along with the astrological transits. And this is really great, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is fire energy. So the theme of Jupiter is about expansion, and Aries is all about that. And this can also bring luck to you in your next endeavors, what's going on in the future. So that could be really great. So let's pick a card from the Star Codes Astro. This is what it looks like. I always show people, let's see the back of it. This is what it looks like from the back. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is too weird. I just got this card for Pisces too, even though I shuffled it. Saturn, structure. Well, if I look at where Saturn is going to land or is landing in your chart, Aries, it's the 12th house. And of course, this is general, you know, an individual's chart is going to vary person to person. But the 12th house with Saturn, it can be the dark night of the soul. I don't like to talk about things in kind of a negative way. When I think of that term, I think of a person who is going through maybe a spiritual upgrade, and part of that is to maybe they have to discipline themselves enough to appreciate solitude. You might be a very extroverted person. The 12th house is the hermit's house. Now Saturn here may be somebody who feels lonely sometimes, but being willing to sit with yourself is one of the best ways to grow spiritually, rather than the distraction of other people. And even face your worst fears. All of those things. If you can just sit there and you don't have to distract yourself, and you can think about some of the things that worry you, and you can emerge from that session intact, maybe feeling better about your situation than you were when you went into it, then you're doing the work. You're not running away from it. And for those people, you know, the Saturn transit through the 12th may have like many beneficial aspects to it. So there you have it. I hope that you enjoyed this. Aries, if you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double readings because they're a package deal. The deep dive is an hour of natal chart analysis and an hour of transits for a special price. I have one with the tarot called the Whole Enchilada. The first one's called the Deep Dive, and other single readings. You can find out more information at the link below. Take care. Bye.